We are going to talk about the metaverse. Many companies from Facebook to Nike are talking about building for the metaverse. So this week, Julia Boorstin is taking an in-depth look, asking what's next as businesses move into the virtual world and what it means for consumers and investors. Julia, I don't want to say I'm disappointed to see you, but I was hoping to see your avatar.
You will see more of my avatar. You just saw my avatar for the tease, right? So we have to mix it up. We're still in this hybrid world, right, Andrew? So Mark Zuckerberg said that it'll be a decade before the metaverse is truly realized. And there is a connected, immersive world. And what he's talking about is a world when you have headsets and everything's interoperable. But parts of the metaverse, the tech platform that could define the future, are already here. Mark Zuckerberg's vision of the metaverse is fully immersive with VR headsets, but people are already exploring virtual worlds without hardware. Let's build an avatar. Decentraland, which is run on Ethereum, allows anyone to build an avatar. Okay, I've got some earrings. You can explore, talk to other avatars, play blackjack in a virtual casino, and even buy digital real estate. Oh, this is where you would buy land. Companies can also buy ad space on digital billboards. Roblox isn't just a kids game. It was an early pioneer of virtual worlds where avatars can play games or attend virtual concerts. And now you can buy digital products from big name fashion brands like Ralph Lauren to outfit your avatar. Look, I can buy a Ralph Lauren beanie for my avatar. Users can buy and then use Robux, that's the digital currency inside Roblox, to acquire these virtual goods. If you want the real virtual immersive experience, you need to have a headset. I'm wearing the Quest 2. This is the avatar I built to explore Horizon Worlds, which is the new app that Meta just launched out of beta. Meta is also working to bring remote workers into a similar virtual space. This app is called Facebook Workrooms, and it's designed for meetings. It's a sign of what a professional piece of the metaverse will look like. Another promising use case for VR headsets, fitness. One of the companies leading the way is FitXR. It offers dancing, boxing, and high-intensity interval training classes, all in a virtual space. It was a lot of fun to build those avatars and explore those virtual worlds. This is the Quest 2 Oculus headset I was using for the Meta Horizon Worlds. But I have to say, it did take a while to load some of those websites, and setting up a headset, it was a lot easier than it used to be when I was trying these things over the last couple of years, but it's still not quite as easy to get into those worlds as it is to, say, set up an iPhone. So on that end, we will be diving into some of the new milestones that could be coming for the metaverse to make it more accessible. That's coming up tomorrow, Andrew.
Okay, so you did two things that were fascinating to me. One was you talked about Decentraland, which is a sort of digital world where people actually are buying real estate. They're buying digital real estate. And I remember when I first heard of this idea, I couldn't get my head around it. You also, though, talked about buying Ralph Lauren, beanies, digital beanies, I assume for Robux, which is real money. My kids are always asking me to reload their Robux. So do you believe, though, that people are going to buy digital real estate, buy a digital billboard, and that's how this is all going to work?
I mean, Andrew, they're already doing it in Decentraland and in Roblox. So that's already happening. And so that's what's so interesting to me about this, is that this is not truly a metaverse in that it's not all interconnected and it's not fully immersive. The day when I could bring my avatar from the Quest, Oculus world into Roblox, into Decentraland, that's when we're really going to be talking about a true metaverse. But each of these are metaverses, right? And people are spending money on real estate and on these virtual goods that they can't take out of those worlds for the most part. So I think that we're already really seeing these behaviors take hold. And I think that it's interesting when you look at a device like this, this isn't plugged in. You don't have to plug this in. And back in the day when I used to demo every single VR headset, they would be clunky, they'd be attached to wires, you'd get stuck when you were trying to turn around. And I think that we're really seeing the beginning of something new here, and that it's easy for someone to try something out, experiment in these spaces. And here's the key thing, Andrew, especially in Roblox, you're probably aware of this because your kids are playing in Decentraland. It's all about letting people create within these spaces. So if you go into Decentraland, you could buy real estate and then you could build some experience on it that other people would get to participate in, or you could put up a billboard for your brand. If you're at Horizon Worlds, you can build something like there was a waterfall, and that was something that some person just built in their spare time. So this idea that it's going to be created by users is another key thing, both about the metaverse and also about Web3.
Hey, Julia, I would say there's still some clunkiness to it, and it's probably going to look pretty different like a decade from now. Even during the tease that you did, when your avatar was kind of talking to us about what was coming up, your hands were coming through the desk, and your body was like firmly planted in the desk. It reminds me of back in 1999 when I was a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. I wrote a story about how you could order everything online for Christmas, and this was like a big feat at the time. We got the Christmas tree, we got the presents, we got everything wrapped, we got the Christmas dinner, we got all of it delivered to the Journal's offices, and we were kind of gleeful with ourselves about the idea that we could actually do this. And now that's how people actually operate. You know, it's more than 20 years later, but times do catch up. It just looks a little different when it actually gets here.
Yeah, I mean, and look, it's a little clunky. The reason you saw my hands doing that weird thing is so these are the controllers, and you could put them down on the table and they could sense where your hands are moving. So some of the times I was waving these around, and sometimes I had them down and they would capture my hands. I do tend to talk a lot with my hands, I noticed once I saw my avatar.
Me too.
But I think that you're right. I think that you're right. I mean, there are elements of it that are cool and seem to work seamlessly, elements that are a little clunky. As I mentioned, some of those websites like Decentraland, they did take a long time to load. And I think that this is really just early days, and the technology is going to get so much better. And Becky, and here's another tease, I'll tell you a lot more tomorrow about what's going to make this experience a lot more accessible.
Looking forward to it. I do enjoy seeing it. Thanks, Julia.
Coming up, an exit interview with Bob Iger as he gets ready to depart as chairman of Disney. David Fravor brings us that exclusive interview coming up next. Squawk Box. We'll be right back.
Age before beauty? Why not both? Visibly diminish wrinkled skin in just 2 days. Crepe Corrector Lotion, only from Gold Bond. Championing your skin.
How can we deliver one of the fuels of the future? Hydrogen could play a pivotal role in tomorrow's energy mix, but it's very expensive to transport. To ship it cost-effectively, we transformed blue hydrogen into blue ammonia. Discover how we delivered 40 tons of blue ammonia to Japan, catalyzing new pathways to cleaner fuels at aramco.com/poweredbyhow.
Larry, check this out. With On Deck, we could get a small business loan fast and start hiring more help right away.
Or
Loan cannon! Why, Loan Cannon, why?
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. On Deck, the online lender that makes it easy to choose your loan and, if approved, get funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
Tonight, inside the U.S. race to handle the Omicron testing surge, plus driving change. What to watch for in the next year in automobiles.
The facts, the truth, the news with Shepard Smith, 7 and midnight Eastern, CNBC.
Is there a power struggle in your home? Now there's Spin Power, the ultimate smart charging station. Brought to you by Bell & Howell. Bell & Howell Spin Power lets you conveniently charge all of your electronics. And with our rapid smart charging technology, devices are charged in a flash. Our smart control ports detect your connected devices for rapid optimal charging. Spin Power Smart Charging Station is also a surge protector with 4 outlets and 6 smart USB ports. Spin Power by Bell & Howell has a sleek and convenient 40-inch extendable cord. Rapidly charge up to 10 devices at the same time, anywhere in your home. Call or go online to get your Spin Power by Bell & Howell with a low price of just 2 easy payments of $14.99. Spin Power comes with a 10-year warranty. But wait, you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee, and shipping is free. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-272-7799 or go to buyspinpower.com. So call 1-800-272-7799 or order online at buyspinpower.com.
Disney chairman Bob Iger is stepping down from the company at the end of a nearly 50-year run. He spoke to David Faber in an exit interview, and David joins us right now with some of the highlights. And David, this really is the end of an era. I was thinking back to Michael Eisner's days there, and when everybody thought he was irreplaceable, but Bob Iger came in and has done such a phenomenal job, better than just about anybody was anticipating, and it's really hard to see him leaving at this point.
Yeah, of course he did step down, as you well know, Becky, at the end of, let's call it February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit very hard. And of course, he had 3 times that we thought he was going to step down as CEO, only to stay on. But this time is for real. He's got about 10 days left, as you said, on a career that spans some 47 plus years at this company, starting as he did in sports at ABC at 23 years of age. And we did have a chance to sit down for a long period of time last week, late last week in Disneyland, and talk about his career, talk about the challenges facing Disney at this point, and a lot of other things that you don't typically do in a CNBC interview. But I did ask Iger whether at this moment, as he looks towards the future and, of course, towards his past at Disney, whether he's got any anxiety at all.
There's no anxiety about that at all. Sadness, because I'm leaving people that I love working with in a company I've loved working for. But no remorse, no second guessing, no anxiety.
You don't regret having left when you did and stepped down as CEO when you did?
No, I think that, look, no one knew that the pandemic was going to explode the way it did. I think the timing was unfortunate. But throwing a new CEO into that circumstance was difficult, but no, I have no regrets about having made that decision. It was time. I didn't want people to be going around saying, when the heck is he going to leave? Isn't it time? I'd rather have them say, gee, did he have to leave when he's leaving? Right. We would have liked him to stay longer. And I'm getting some of that.
Of course, Iger turns 71 not too long from now, Becky. So it is time, as he said. And, there's going to be a lot more of this interview throughout the day, including, of course, conversation about what is going to be next for him, in addition to so many other things that we have for you.
Yeah, David, I've been waiting to see this, so really looking forward to this. Of course, it raises a lot of questions, too, about the CEO at the current time, Bob Chapek, and what he's doing. He did step in at an incredibly difficult time with the pandemic and has had to grapple with a lot. How are things looking for him right now?
Listen, there are no shortage of challenges for Chapek, and there's also been a decent amount sort of reported and written about challenges between Chapek and Iger. As you probably expect, Iger did not want to engage too fully on it. I don't know if we have time, but I did ask him if there should be any concern amongst Disney shareholders in terms of the relationship between the Bobs. But at this point, of course, as you know, it is Mr. Chapek's show, and that's something that Iger agrees with.
It shouldn't be a concern to Disney shareholders at all that any dynamic between us would have an impact on the company long term. I'm leaving, he's in, it's his company. He's going to manage it as he sees fit with the board under circumstances that are very different than existed when I was CEO and chairman, because they're changing, as we've talked, they're changing so rapidly. And he'll make his own decisions, and I hope that he's learned good lessons. I believe that he has, in terms of some of the things that I did along the way and what worked and what didn't work. And I think the relationship I have with him is not really relevant to how effective he is running the company.
To your point, though, Becky, no shortage of challenges, including a focus right now on direct-to-consumer, the key part of the business, and whether or not Disney is broad enough in its content offerings to continue to move towards that 230 million sub goal that they have. It's obviously years out, but certainly some questions about that.
He did sell. Iger did. He sold about $90 million worth of his Disney shares earlier this year. I think it was back in June. And, if he thinks there's no concern to Disney shareholders, maybe people would look at his actions for some of that, too.
Yeah, he does still own a decent slug of stock as well. So he is still a significant shareholder, but it's a good point. He did monetize to a certain extent, of course. And again, he was CEO during a very strong run for the company. We talked so much during the course of the interview about the good decisions that he made, including, of course, in beginning with really the acquisition of Pixar and then moving on there through, of course, a significant acquisition run, the opening of Disney Shanghai. It went to China over 40 plus times during the course of his tenure as CEO, Becky. So much to get to, but we will also get to the challenges as well that you point out, to whether it's direct to consumer, whether it's ESPN and sports rights. It's nice to be able to sit down, as you know, with somebody for over an hour and sort of have that kind of a conversation. It's a rare opportunity.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it, David. Thank you for a little bit of a tease there, and I'm sure everybody else is going to be on board watching too. See you in a little bit.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now to Washington, where politicians are still talking about Senator Joe Manchin's vote to say he wouldn't be for the current Build Back Better plan for President Biden. A move that kills the bill, at least in its current form. One reason Manchin gave was economic. The senator from West Virginia argues that the infusion of government spending would make inflation even worse. Joining us now to discuss this and other economic issues is Austin Goolsbee, professor of economics at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business and former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors in the Obama administration, and Michael Strain, director of economic policy studies at the American Enterprise Institute. Austin, just looking at some of your comments, nobody knows whether a smaller deal or a smaller bill is a possibility, and it seems like the door is left open. Manchin reportedly was in favor of some of the proposals, just not maybe the overall size and cost. But you say even if he doesn't, that Biden at this point, his major accomplishments will be the rescue plan and the infrastructure bill. And you think that both of those are substantial, given that it wasn't, it wasn't a huge win where you just swept huge amounts of the Senate and the House. He's gotten a lot done for not having huge majorities in either chamber.
Look, I don't know if it means I need a rapid test, Joe, but I think I agree with you, 100%. For a brief moment, you were the second most important Joe, in the public eye. We got Joe Manchin first, and I think the White House absolutely now needs to decide, do they want to do a partial bill? Do they want to figure out what in Build Back Better Joe Manchin would support? But, the oldest rule of economic theory is you got to have 50 votes if you want to do something. So I think the infrastructure bill was a major accomplishment. I think that the American Rescue Plan and that we did not have something deeper and longer lived in terms of a recession coming out of the resurgence of the virus, and knock on wood, let's not experience that again with Omicron. I think those will be the major legislative accomplishments, and now they should get what they can get. But we'll have to see how it goes.
Austin, the Build Back Better bill, and then I'll get to Michael, but the Build Back Better bill, was it important right now to help the economy continue healing from the pandemic? Or was it a collection of things that Democrats have wanted for years and years and years and years, and therefore a bridge too far, given that you didn't have, as I said earlier, it's 50-50. If you want to do something transformative, instead of pillaring Joe Manchin, why don't you elect more senators?
Yeah, look, 100%, I think they need to elect more senators. I don't believe that Build Back Better was about short-run stimulus. That's why I think just on factual grounds, I disagree a bit with Senator Manchin. I don't think it would have much impact on inflation up or down because it's spread out over a number of years. The impact right away wasn't very big. So I don't think it was about addressing COVID-related things. I think it was about investments in human capital that have been neglected.
Michael, I don't know, AEI, American Enterprise Institute, and that covers a wide range, even within, it's not a monolith, people that are there. But in your view, how much credence do you give to the notion that it was a major transformation of the United States into an entitlement state, where you had entitlement creep up to the middle class, where perhaps it's not needed? And when you do fund entitlements with higher taxes, there are people at AEI would just say that's a problem right from the start. It's going to impact private sector growth.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, first of all, let me just quickly say that I speak only for myself, and that AEI doesn't hold institutional views on issues. There's a lot in there that was problematic. The tax increases were problematic. The tax increases on corporations would violate President Biden's pledge not to increase taxes on households earning less than $400,000 a year, because some of those increases would be borne by workers in the form of lower wages. And I do think it was a step towards a larger middle class entitlement state. I don't think that's really deniable. I think that was the goal. Whether or not you agree with that goal is, a matter of your views on politics and political philosophy and what you think about the appropriate role of government, things of that nature. A separate issue that I have with Build Back Better is just the design of these programs that were in it. The design was very poor and led to a lot of money being proposed to be spent that just wasn't necessary. For example, it makes no sense to give the same child tax credit to a household earning a six-figure income as a household with no earnings. It doesn't make any sense to have a paid leave program that would benefit upper income workers who already have paid leave from their employers. The structure of the child care subsidy would just get us in the same position that we are in, with Medicare, with higher education funding. The plan is to boost the demand for commercial daycare and then to subsidize it with tax dollars, but only to subsidize it for some people. So you're really hurting a lot of people by increasing the cost of commercial daycare, and then you're in this situation where you're just chasing your tail, where you subsidize it, that boosts the demand, you subsidize it again, that boosts the demand further, the price goes up and up and up. So, a problem I have with it is what you say, which is that it's a step toward a middle class entitlement society, but it's also it was just really poorly designed, and I think it's better for the country and for the economy that it doesn't pass.
They're telling me to wrap, Austin and Michael. Thank you both. Austin, I was going to ask you whether as an honest and good person, did you have a problem with 10 years of taxes for 1 year of a program? Did you know that was fuzzy math? Did you tell your colleagues, or did you whisper to them that you weren't in favor of that, or are you ready to go along with all that?
Did you say something about honest, Mr. I still owe you dinner after 2 years for a bet that I
now Omicron. It's just how all occasion doth inform against us. It's just really hard to get it done, man. It's hard to get it done. It's external things, Austin, and now no fries. Now it's tough to get fries. There's a fry shortage. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Michael. Austin. Coming up, Jim Cramer on the trading day ahead. Stay tuned.
How can we deliver one of the fuels of the future?